Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports with myself, Liam Jenkins, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again. If you're new around this channel and you enjoy this sort of content, make sure you leave a like and of course hit that big red button. We are that close to 14,000 subscribers. We would love for you to join our passionate Philadelphia sports community where we've got live streams, film rooms and me. You've got me, so that's there. Now, some of the more savvy among you may be going, Liam, why are you wearing a Flyers jersey? And we will get to that in due course. But before we move on to the orange and black and LJ's trip abroad, we have to talk about the Eagles. And what a weekend it was to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Not only do they defeat the Green Bay Packers on a short week, on the road, in Lambeau Field, against Aaron Rodgers, completely depleted at cornerback once again, but Dallas lose on Sunday, and I don't know if there is a sweeter combination. Now, I'm British. I've heard jam and cream is pretty good. I've heard tea and crumpets are pretty good. I've heard fish and chips are pretty good. But an Eagles win and a Dallas loss just seems a bit better, doesn't it? Now, the Packers didn't make it easy in a 34-27 victory for the Eagles. It came right down to the wire. And when I mean the wire, I mean the wire of the wire. Like, if you were to get a cable and chew half of it, that wire. 3 consecutive goal line stops for the red zone defense. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And what a shining moment it was. Now, quickly on that, a lot of you are like, LJ, where's the Eagles film room this week? I can't believe it. Where is the film room? Where is the film room? Where is the film room? And the simple answer is, I'm sorry, NFL Game Pass don't make the film available to those in the UK until Sunday evening, which is great. That's excellent. So there should be a film room tomorrow and a little video coming out on Wednesday as well. But the main takeaway, aside from what we're going to get into in just a moment, is that the Eagles finally have a run game. They have thunder, they have lightning. The two have collided to make the perfect storm. Jordan Howard got 15 carries against the Green Bay Packers, averaging 5.8 yards per carry, and he scored a hat-trick of touchdowns. He's a hat-trick hero. I'm British, I like soccer. You know we're going to put 2 and 2 together. And if you missed the Outside Insider podcast this week, we now have a Jordan Howard song alongside the Clayton Thorson song. Jordan Howard! Jordan Howard exploded against Green Bay in a game that people have been pounding the table for so hard that it could end up on a dodgy adult website somewhere. This was the sort of game we have been begging to see. That Jordan Howard becomes the bell cow back and leads this backfield, taking the weight off Miles Sanders, who, might I add, is now clutching this ball like he's clinging on for dear life. And that was legit a play. He ended up at the Packers goal line with the ball on his back, looking like he'd been crucified. And that's what you want to see. That's development. That's the Eagles looking at what went wrong and trying to coach it out of their players. And I think more importantly to go at the run game is that the offensive line was incredible. Dallas got at the tight end, was run blocking in the form of his life. The team have missed that over the last few weeks. But they didn't allow a single sack on Carson Wentz. They allowed 2 quarterback hits and paved the way for 176 rushing yards in a shootout. That is literally bringing a knife to a gunfight. So whenever someone says don't bring a knife to a gunfight, do it. Alright, just do it. I think you can make the case that's why Miles Sanders was a little bit more productive. Himself had 11 carries for 72 yards, a career day for him, although his career has been 4 games. It's still a sign of improvement, and we're seeing someone that's not having to hesitate so much behind the line because the holes are wider than the parting of the Red Sea. Even I could run through them. But when you take someone like Miles Sanders, who is explosive, who is dynamic, you partner that with a hole that wide, what you're just going to get is an absolute bruising, and that's exactly what we saw against the Packers. Now, is this sustainable? I'd like to think so. Someone made a comment on Morgan Burkett's article before the Packers game, stating that during the Andy Reid era, the offensive linemen never played preseason together. It took them a few weeks to settle down. I think we're seeing that again. None of the Eagles starters played a snap together during the preseason, and you can make the case that the first 4 games of the season have been somewhat of an adjustment for them. So, fair play, but they're blocking like absolute rabid Wolverines right now, and I'm here for it. But as we mentioned, Green Bay didn't make it easy. I mean, I don't know what Devontae Adams had before the game, whether it was just a lot of oranges or bananas or maybe a little bit of watermelon, but he was on absolute fire. And had it not been for an injury, he would have easily eclipsed the 200 receiving yard mark. I mean, most of them he racked up in the first quarter. Aaron Rodgers had close to 500 yards of passing. That's ridiculous. And he still lost. He still lost with 500 yards apart. I mean, that is the most Madden thing I've ever seen. Wow. But not only were the Eagles cornerbacks burned and toasted, but then they were threw away in the bin, in the trash, because they were too burned, they were too crispy. And unfortunately, the Eagles are in a very sticky situation right now. Sidney Jones was taken out of the game with a hammy injury, and later on, Andrew Sende, no, we're not singing the song. He doesn't deserve it. He's been a naughty boy. No. Sendejo had a terrifying hit on his own teammate. I mean, the guy flies around the field like a rogue remote-controlled car. I've never seen, and he doesn't know where he's going. It's sort of like if you blow up a balloon and then just let it fly around. That's Andrew Sende, not a cause, not just flying about wherever the game takes him. But he hit Avonte Maddox, and I said after the game that I just wanted to send the kindest regards and all of our thoughts and prayers to Avonte and his family. What must have been a terrifying time, like to know that someone you know, that's family, that you're close to, endured something like that, and luckily is okay. Like, I mean, it's a hit that should be taken out of the game, but a massive shout to Avonte for powering through. Apparently he was making jokes on the plane home, so he seems to be okay, and he's bound to miss a few weeks. Now, on that note, the Eagles have two healthy cornerbacks. One is Rasul Douglas and the other one is King Craig James. Alright, you've seen Captain Cravon. It's time for King Craig. The man steps into the game. A former undrafted free agent who spent time with the Vikings last year waltzes onto the field in a clutch situation under a minute to go, knowing fully well Aaron Rodgers is coming his way. And he steps into a slant route on Marquez Valdes-Scantling, punches it in the air like Rocky, and somehow it fell so beautifully that even Nigel Bradham and his cinder-block hands could haul it in. What a play for that man. Now, is this going to be a replacement for potentially Jalen Ramsey? No, it's not. I mean, the Eagles should still probably be in the market for a cornerback. But if it's only a few weeks for Sidney Jones, then there isn't really a dire need. The team just brought back Orlando Scandrick, and of course he had a career-high 13 passes defense last year, spent time with the Eagles this offseason, and has been a career nickel cornerback. I think that's his role. He'll come in while Maddox is down, and then while Jones is out, that's where things get interesting. Do the Eagles go and push the boat out for Jalen Ramsey? That's now been thrown into complete disarray because the Jaguars decided to have their own Titanic moment with some Minshew magic and a game-winning field goal at the weekend. And because they won, it keeps the season hopes alive. There's promise, there's energy, and they may be even more reluctant to get rid of Jalen Ramsey. And they played that game without him, bear in mind. If they had him on the field, that should have been a comfortable win. You can make the case. I think they'll do all they can to keep Jalen Ramsey. And the other reason why it won't happen is because Jason Lackenfora exists. And no disrespect to Jason Lackenfora, but he does this thing where whenever he says something will happen, it doesn't, which is what you want from an insider, really. That is their job. But then he also does this thing where he sits so firmly on the fence with every report, it's hard to gain anything from it. It's the equivalent of a weatherman saying, well, John, it might rain today, the clouds are right, but the sun might also come through. So bring a coat, it might rain, but bring a hat for the sun. Cheers. That's Jason Lackenfora. And if it rains, he's like, I said you should bring a coat. And if it's sunny, he says, I said you should brought a hat. I don't understand what he does. Actually, I really don't. So, we are in a tricky spot. The Eagles did sign a cornerback to their practice squad today, but do they go out and trade for a corner? There are some interesting names potentially on the market. You've got names like Adoree Jackson out of USC, currently of the Titans, who reminds me a lot of Ronald Darby, but he can tackle. Or Chris Harris Jr., who's a bit expensive as a veteran. If you bring back someone like Patrick Robinson, the problem you've got is then it's a nickel jam once again, and do you put Maddox outside when he returns, who's already proven he's got some tricky angles getting his foot in the ground and making a tackle. So I don't know. It's really, unless you're going all in on Jalen Ramsey, it's really hard to make the case because Rasul Douglas can hold his own. If you're gonna do anything, in my opinion, you move Malcolm Jenkins to one of the two cornerback spots and then you put Scandrick in the nickel. Put Jenkins outside. He can play cornerback. He's probably a damn sight better than, and no disrespect to King Craig, but it's Malcolm Jenkins, you know? Sorry, Craig. I think Malcolm Jenkins will be a little bit more impactful, and that would just be a patchwork. It will be a band-aid until the Eagles find the solution. While they work the phones, while they try and work a trade, or sign a free agent off the street, or just wait for Sidney Jones and Avonte Maddox to get healthy. There is no need at this point to go selling the shop because I think you can get by. And hey, do you know what? If you concede nearly 500 passing yards to Aaron Rodgers, allow over 100 yards to one receiver per game in each of the first 4, and still be at 2-2, you should arguably be 4-0 if we're being honest here. You can get by. You can get by. You've proven that red zone defense allowed the Green Bay Packers there on 4 separate occasions. They allowed field goal, interception, zilch. It's bend it, don't break. They'll be alright. On to the Flyers, and this is the big news, because although there is no Flyers news, there is LJ news, and I said last week that I'm going to Prague. I leave for Prague to cover the Flyers season opener on Wednesday. I don't think I could have said Prague anymore in that sentence if I physically tried. But it's kind of setting in now as to how important this is to me. Like for those of you that have been around a while, you'll remember the NFL games in London where we didn't get accreditation for those, and it kind of broke me a bit. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I had this vivid image in my head for so long of if the Eagles ever come to London, what it was going to look like, what I was going to do, and we weren't quite ready to take that leap yet. But now, an official NHL accredited event has given us that press room access, has given us that credential. It's a bit different because we are credentialed with the Philadelphia Flyers and the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, but to go to an NHL game where they put on and it's not the team, this is a neutral site, so the NHL look after it, to be recognised as someone that can come in and cover that game. It's an honour. It's something that will never ever not be surreal to me, you know, and I'm just so thankful for all of the support that you guys have given. These last 12 months have been an absolute roller coaster, and I wouldn't be where I am now, and I mean that. Without you, without your passion, without your support, without the tea and crumpets comment, without the stick to soccer jokes, and of course all the soppy stuff as well, to know that this audience, this fan base is so dedicated, it makes us want to push on those 17-hour days and give you the very best we can. There's going to be a lot of content coming from Prague. I'm going to try and vlog the whole thing, so you have one big 10-15 minute video of my experience, along with a couple videos and other bits as well. But most of my content will be written at phillysportsnetwork.com, or you can follow me at Liam Jenkins PSM to hear the best of it. But it really is a humbling moment, and I'm just so thankful. I mean, it blows my mind that the channel has 14,000 subscribers. Our website is now reaching over 250,000 people every month. It's insane to me, you know, it really is insane, and I'll never be able to get over that. And that's what makes us want to push on. So because of you, we can give you better content, essentially. And hey, we're going to put some stuff on the wall, alright? You keep pointing it out, you keep slagging it off. We're getting there. Give me time. But everything we do, without sounding like some 80s love song, everything we do on this channel, on this website, is for you. We listen to everything you say. We read every comment. We may not get back to all of them, but we try our best. And all I've ever wanted to do is give you guys my absolute best every single day until I burn out. And to know that we're now in an opportunity where we can cover a credentialed NHL game, it's surreal. So I promise you plenty of content coming, but we will still have Eagles content on the way as well, including streams and film rooms and all the rest of it. So don't worry, I'm not going to let you down. The 76ers did... Well, they did about as much as what's on the wall behind me. You keep having a go at it. That's the Sixers news this week. Yeah. The Phillies season ends at a neutral 81-81 record. They break the losing streak for 6 consecutive seasons, but was it enough? That's the question you're all asking. Is Gaby K on the hot seat? We don't know. I mean, some people say yes, some people say no. Bryce Harper, Real Muta, and all the players offered their support and said that they got him to play hard. He faced some adversity. He lost some people due to injury. He had a pitching rotation that was just horrific for the start of the year. They had just one all-star, but considering everything he had to overcome, I don't think management put him in the best place to win. It's sort of like an Eagles cornerback in this secondary. It's not all on him. It's the fact he's 10 yards off the ball and there's no safety help, alright? You need some structure behind you. I don't think Gaby K had that. So at this point, he's probably just as likely to leave as he is to stay. But is this Phillies season a disappointment? Because yeah, alright, it is, okay? It is. There's no getting around it. But I think only because there was such excessive off-season spend that the expectations were so lofty. Hey, and I've got a 38-inch vertical, and they were above that, okay? They were above that. So just bear that in mind. But moving forward, I think there's plenty of reason to be... But you've got guys from AA and AAA being promoted when they really shouldn't have been. There was a lack of, I think, general awareness around the trade deadline. And do you know what? Although the Phillies broke the bank, they didn't break expectations. And I think that part is the process. The same way the Sixers went through a process, nothing happens overnight, especially in a season that's so long where it's the only sport I know where writers genuinely take holidays midway through the season. it's bound to take time. Just take the foot off the gas a little bit, wait and see what the offseason has ahead. But either way, the Phillies have to attack this. They've got Bryce to recruit people, and they've taken a step forward. They're even, they're 81 and 81. Next year has to be the year they attack. For the Philadelphia Union, though, that window is now. You can't see me, their time is... I just did a John Cena joke. But they lost 2-0 to the Columbus Crew. They're now third in the Eastern Conference, tied with Atlanta, which isn't great, but they're still in the playoff hunt. And again, if you're not getting down to the river end, do it, alright? There's a great atmosphere down there. Go and mingle with the Sons of Ben, cheer on the boys in blue, and hopefully push them to a playoff berth, which will be amazing for the city, especially during those cold winter months. That is it, guys, for another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports. If you're new as well, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to join our community. Again, that close to 14k, but from the bottom of my heart, truly thank you, because, you know, in the space of a couple of weeks, we've now got an office where... Alright, there's nothing on the wall. I know. I'm going to Prague. It's my first time flying. I'm covering an NHL hockey game. It's bedazzling to me, like it's so wild. And again, it's all for you guys. It's all because of you guys. And I promise that it's just the beginning. So thank you for all of the support, for all the love, all the hate. So you guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll have plenty of content lined up for you here at PSN. And from myself, Liam Jenkins, I'll see you next time.